A very good evening and a warm welcome to UBC News tonight on this 6th day of March 2024. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and my colleague Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language interpretation. We bring you tonight's news live from Nile Avenue. President Museveni has warned European Union governments on mixing politics with business, saying that it is a barrier for trade. Museveni was officially launching the third European Union and Uganda Business Summit at the Speak Resort Munyonyo, where he launched 8 projects worth €200 million.
Now, the lack of dialogue in the world is part of the problem. And I really would like to, through the ambassadors here of Europe, to encourage them to tell their governments to engage in serious dialogue with all of us. We are here, we know what we are doing, and we are ready for dialogue, but we need dialogue, not just running around and misusing opportunities. However, in 1776, a man called Adam Smith wrote a book which helped people to think clearly. And he gave an example. He said, look at me. I'm having my breakfast. However, on this breakfast, I have bread. Bread has been made by the baker. I'm not the one who made it. It was made by somebody called a baker. Then I have meat, which was sent to me by a butcher. And he also said he was having beer. That's when I came to know that English drink beer at breakfast. He said, I have also had beer. And the beer is from the brewer. And then he said, all these 3 people enabled me to have breakfast. The question is, did they enable me to have breakfast because they loved me or what? And the answer was no, they didn't even know you. They loved themselves, each one pursuing the area he liked best, but in the end they provided what the Adam Smith needed. So that's how Adam Smith helped us. He helped the world to understand the importance of the private sector, of free enterprise, the importance of specialization, and the importance of exchange. If you have got a need for a product and you have got the ability to pay for it, purchasing power, then equals the demand. If you only have want, but no ability to pay, then it's not a demand. It is wishes. So the second element of successful business is the consumers who have got the ability to pay for the products. Now the third element is infrastructure. Infrastructure to link the producer of the good and the service and the consumer. That is like transport, communication, and so on. That's part of that infrastructure. But also infrastructure to enable the production of the goods and the services. That is electricity and so on. So that's the second, refrigeration, storage, and all that. These are the three elements that will help us to do business.
We celebrated then in 2022 the Ugandan European trade and investments. But as Honorable Anita said, you also told us that we could do better. You said the Europeans had lagged behind. And Your Excellency, I can now report back. And I have good news. Our trade and investment has developed in a remarkable way the last few years. When I look at the trade statistics, I can see a doubling of the Ugandan exports since 2020. And the EU's share of foreign direct investments in Uganda was a year ago more than 40%, or 1.2 billion euro, or more than 5 trillion Ugandan shillings. I think it's difficult to claim some kind of absolute causality, but I would want to believe, Mr. President, that the business forums have contributed somewhat to these impressive figures.
Mr. President, thank you very, very much. I can't say this enough because I know that it is one key factor for anyone to put their money in any economy, and that factor is peace and stability. And you have ably made Uganda peaceful in the region. That's why we have a comparative advantage over the markets which are not peaceful. The other comparative advantage that we have is the fact that, Your Excellency, you've negotiated regional and international markets. You have negotiated a market of 300 million people, and that is the East African Common Market.
And of course, a representative of the European Investment Bank in this photo. I will now...
President Museveni has guided the Muslim community on the use of PDM funds as the status of riba, interest fees, in the PDM. In his letter to Takwa Sako, President Museveni clarified that the PDM funds are not loans and therefore do not incur interest according to Islamic principles. He emphasized that the 100 million annual allocation per parish under PDM is a government grant, not a loan. Museveni acknowledged concerns about inflation eroding the purchasing power of the PDM funds. He explained that the interest charged by SACCOs, such as the proposed 5% on the 1 million loans, is intended to maintain the value of the money against inflation, not to generate profit. President Museveni also supported the Takwa Islamic Savings and Credit Cooperative with 200 million shillings. The Prime Minister, Robin Nabanja, has lauded the NRM government for fast-tracking the women emancipation agenda, noting that the mission is yielding positive results. Nabanja says the Ugandan women has, in the last 3 decades, gained more ground on their male counterparts in various sectors of the economy and can no longer be taken for granted. Dennis Segor reports.
Ugandan women are now empowered and have the power to make their own decisions, says the Prime Minister, Robin Nabanja.
The proportion of women who own land increased from 16% in the year 2000 to 31% in 2017, and 38% of these women own houses.
The Premier's remarks come on the heels of the International Women's Day celebrations slated for the 8th of March. The national event will be held in Katakwi district in the eastern region.
It is important to recall that the NRM government, under the wise leadership, the able leadership of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has implemented and continues to implement several programs to empower women and girls and promote gender equality. These programs are guided by the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, through which the National Resistance Movement directs our national agenda for promoting the rights of women and girls.
The Premier made these remarks while gracing over the opening of a two-day National Women's Council conference in Kampala on the theme Consolidating Gains and Harnessing Opportunities for Women in Uganda.
Our role as women leaders, our major role is to monitor all these government programs, making sure that there is value for money, making sure that the women benefit. You know, there is something that someone can tell you that this is your project, but when you are not a beneficiary.
We have now PDM, which is giving much more money to women than perhaps the WEP. When WEP is continuing, PDM is also running. Women have to do an instrumental role, but our institutional support was completely cut off. 30 billion shillings.
Nabanja hailed the NRM government for taking the lead in emancipating women socially, politically and economically.
The NRM government has heavily invested in interventions aimed at improving the quality of women and their babies. As a result, the infant mortality rate has reduced from 81 per 1,000 live births in the year 2000 to 43 per 1,000 live births in the year 2020.
Dennis Igor for UBC News.
Uganda spends 2.6 trillion shillings in treating diseases caused by alcohol consumption. This was revealed by Margaret Muhanga, the Primary Healthcare State Minister, before the Education Committee when they were discussing the Alcohol Control Bill.
For members, I recognize the presence of the Minister of
Statistics on alcohol consumption in Uganda provided that 42.8% of Ugandans aged 15 years and above are alcohol users. According to the Minister Muhanga, Uganda is at a high health risk of alcohol-related illness with these numbers.
Look at what families we are raising with alcohol. You really can't say pastors drink. I mean, pastors have been in accidents, they drink. That's an isolated case. If we are telling you that 90% of the people who show up in Mulago at our emergency are drunken drivers. So, a pastor, it will be just an accident caused actually by a drunken driver. That's how they will knock a pastor. That pastors are fighting in their homes, reverends and fathers. I have never been to a police and found a father or a reverend or a pastor who has fought. I have never.
How much can an individual consume that alcohol when it is being, because if you want to enforce, it is very difficult. I saw it, I've seen it, and even if we come up with a new alcohol bill as it is being proposed, we are making the commodity very precious. The more we regulate, the more the precious the commodity becomes, the more people tend to consume because they know there's something good in it.
The total annual per capita alcohol consumption among Ugandans aged 15 years and older is 12.21 litres and 4.8 litres in the African region.
Are you proud, honorable members, that we are the leading alcohol consumers in Africa? And we are the third in the world. We consume more alcohol than anyone, and we are called a third world country. Drawing from the statistics above, we can state that there is no safe level of alcohol. Alcohol consumed in any amount contributes to negative health outcomes, and this assertion shall be clear to all. We also want to reiterate that alcohol is associated with negative social and economic outcomes to not only the users, but also the societies and communities where they live.
It was also noted that high alcohol consumption greatly contributed to lower academic performance among students of higher institutions of learning.
Let's protect the brain. And that's our proposal, and we have a technical explanation for it. Because of the brain, which is still growing in these children, let them not drink alcohol. If they start alcohol at 18, a good proportion will have their brains affected, and that's going to affect them. And there is scientific evidence for that.
There are studies that has been done, and they indicated that alcohol consumption has a negative effect on the academic performance of students, as it can make it difficult for them to manage their academic responsibilities and their social life as well. And this leads to a high risk of dropout or failure and repetition of classes.
The 2014 nationwide STEPS Non-Communicable Diseases Risk Factor Survey revealed that 28.9% of adults between 18 and 69 years of age consume alcohol, a figure that increased to 31.1% in 2023. Mariona Wari and Namfuka Farida for UBC.
Uganda National Bureau of Standards has backed the Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2023. According to the Acting Executive Director, UNBS, Daniel Nagalama, this bill is an additional enforcement mechanism to enhance consumer protection, health and safety. UNBS, however, urged the Parliamentary Committee of Health, Tourism, Trade and Industry to regulate the bill in adding value on what UNBS has not done.
Uganda National Bureau of Standards and Uganda Export Promotion Board have engaged with the Committee of Health, Tourism, Trade and Industry, chaired by Catherine Lamwaka, to align their consultations on the Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2023.
Inclusion of an actual value of 0.5% may be useful to that. It is important to know that also the existing standards that cover alcohol have set standards.
Presenting to the committee, the acting ED, UNBS, Daniel Nagalama, says the bill in question is seconded, but rather some regulations contradict with the works of the body.
We welcome this bill as a bill of standards. We feel it is additional enforcement to enhance consumer protection, public health and safety, as I said.
UNBS also stressed the need of the bill to be looked at as an element that will work on what the body has not done rather than do a repetition.
What we are saying here is that this bill should be able to do to add value in terms of what is UNBS not doing. Others can do, and we close the value chain.
One of the components of this bill is to regulate consumption. However, when asked about the high levels of consumption by individuals, UNBS responded with limited manpower for market surveillance.
For us to be able to process this bill well, we must understand from you what is this high consumption. Because if we don't get it clearly, then we are at a loss.
Whereas we have the necessary competences and infrastructure to enforce this law, but one thing on the ground.
These were also tasked on whether they can formulate standards that will work on challenges of local brewers.
Are you allowing our people to take these products knowing that they have those qualities which are not good for consumption, and yet you are the institution mandated to do so?
If we want a standard for Malwa, then people who are experts in Malwa need to sit together and agree what the standard of Malwa is. We shall develop that. Let me ask this.
Stakeholders say that with or without the bill, government should address the illegal imports of alcohol beverages on the black market.
How are we going to stop products from Kenya, from Tanzania, from South Sudan entering this market and being sold illegally and wreaking havoc to our economy and to our health?
The Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2023 seeks to regulate the manufacture, sale and consumption of alcoholic drinks. Lydia Chomkama, Gloria Gutabinji, Parliament.
East African governments have been called upon to put in place the necessary infrastructure to ensure safety and protection of personal data. Minister for Information, Communication Technology and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, says having harmonized policies will reduce cyber attacks in the region. This was during the opening of the Conference of East African Exchange on Data Protection held in Kampala.
The data protection and privacy landscape in the East African community is not yet the best. This underscores the need to navigate the complexities of data protection and privacy as a region. These were the appeals as national and regional experts from East Africa met in Kampala.
As we navigate these waters, we must recognize the diverse stages of development and implementation of data protection and privacy laws across our partner states in the EAC. Yet, within this diversity lies our strength, the unparalleled opportunity for knowledge exchange, peer learning, and collective growth.
This is partly being done through comparing of data protection laws across East Africa. Experts are evaluating the region's shared aims and distinctions to aid incorporation of global best practices.
As we continue to delve into these important discussions, let us recall that in unity we find strength, in data we find potential, in protection we find prosperity.
And as East African nations strive to deepen economic ties and harmonize regulatory frameworks, aligning data protection standard is imperative. Consistent and robust data protection laws across the regions will facilitate the cross-border data flows. It will enhance cybersecurity and promote a level playing field for businesses operating in multiple jurisdictions.
In agreement with this is Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance.
Governments and countries must put in place the necessary systems, the necessary infrastructure to handle this aspect of data protection, data privacy.
To aid in this quest is the step that East African Community Secretariat has taken to secure funds.
We need to build an ecosystem for data flow and exchange that is secure and built within an environment of trust within the region, and to enable cooperation among partner states so that we can grow together as a community and as a social, strong and integrated economic bloc.
Because with this technological advancement, a lot of data, a lot of information is generated, especially personal data. If we don't put in place measures to protect this personal data, then there will be gross abuse. You will find information about you is now put in the public and used for wrong reasons.
The focus remains on sharing knowledge and working towards a future where personal data is both protected and also a catalyst for regional integration and economic growth. Henry Okrut, UBC.
The head of the Office of the National Chairman of NRM and the President, Hajat Hadija Namyalo, has urged Ugandans to actively participate in the renewal of the party voter registry book to secure a significant victory in the upcoming general elections in 2026. Namyalo conveyed this sentiment during a press conference organized by the Office of the Chairman of NRM.
Last Wednesday, NRM Chairman and President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni officially launched the renewal of the NRM Register Book at the party's premises in Kyadondo. During the launch, he emphasized the importance of transparency in the execution of this task by NRM cadres. The program is scheduled to commence on Tuesday, the 13th of next week. Head of Office of the President, Hajat Hadija Namyalo, urged Ugandans aspiring to be part of the NRM winning team to actively engage in the program.
Call upon all Ugandans who still believe that His Excellency can do good or he has done good and they still need more of his security, peace, the socio-economic empowerment, these other programs that our thugs are still failing, and we really need them to be implemented. Let us parade at our respective villages.
Namyalo cautioned against the spread of misinformation, particularly those suggesting that Museveni will not participate in the upcoming elections.
Uganda is a democratic state. It's a sovereign state that gives powers to its people to vote for their rightful leader or the president. It's not forced.
She reassured everyone that their chairman will indeed run for office.
And by registering or updating the launch of the register, it's a signal showing that he is on the ballot. If other people are saying that he's not coming back, so he was launching the update of the register for who?
Meanwhile, with the country gearing up to celebrate Women's Day, Namyalo highlighted some of the initiatives undertaken by the presidential office to alleviate poverty among women.
But however, it's not sustainable, as many say, but in our capacity, you rather get the small than waiting for billions you won't get. So for us, whatever we can get, if someone wants a hoe and I have it, I don't have a store for hoes. Obviously, I'll take it to that particular person who is at the village to dig and get food for his or her family.
She encouraged women to actively participate in developmental activities and support their households' needs. Brian Tumwenebiaruhanga, Joseph Muyingo, UBC News.
International Women's Day celebrations in Uganda coincide with a period where many girls are facing challenges leading to a high rate of school dropouts. Rebecca Kadaga, the first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for East African Affairs, emphasizes the need to address the challenges faced by girls, particularly their lack of access to essentials such as sanitary pads. She made these remarks during a press conference of the NRM Women's League in preparation for International Women's Day on March 8, 2024.
International Women's Day provides an opportunity for women to reflect on progress made and to intensify efforts to empower other women across all sectors of society. However, as we celebrate the 27th International Women's Day, more needs to be done to elevate the status of women. Rebecca Kadaga, the first Deputy Prime Minister, states that women in leadership roles must play a crucial role in uplifting other women. Highlighting the increasing school dropouts among girls due to lack of necessities and early pregnancies, Kadaga emphasized government's commitment to providing pads to vulnerable girls to ensure they stay in school.
Circular President of 2016, agenda supplying abana wabula kisobola okukola ngenda kutandika kutraininga abantu ewange actually natandika kutraininga mbagobolola abantu batandika okukola pads.
Despite the achievements and progress of women in Uganda, there is still much advocacy needed for women's rights, including addressing issues among others, sexual harassment and domestic violence.
Ensonga eyo nkulu nnyo era twongera okutegeeza abaana abawala abanoonya emirimu abakyala abanoonya emirimu nti ekintu ekyo mukirwanyise muveeyo mwogere. Ennaku ezimu ezikuziddwa eza Women's Day ziri ku gender-based violence.
Lydia Wanyoto, the Women's League chairperson, encouraged women to engage in government projects that empower them economically.
Vigilant about the programs of government so that they are able to benefit and that data about them is captured. I would like to call upon all the women of Uganda to make sure that they are vigilant on the day when we are going to have a national exercise of National Housing and Population Census.
This year's International Women's Day, 8th March, is to take place in Katakwi District under the theme, Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. Mariona Wori and Justin Nakami for UBC.
The heads and top management of companies have been called on to ensure professionalism among their staff and ensure systematic avenues towards the role of corporate governance for development. This courageous message was delivered by the Deputy Governor, Bank of Uganda, Dr. Michael Atingi Ego, while officiating the 13th Annual Director and Secretaries Conference held in Kampala under the theme Corporate Governance, the Navigation System During Economic and Geopolitical Uncertainty.
Again, another panel, Angela, my sister.
Company employers and employees work hand in hand towards the gross growth and development of their organizations. However, they operate amidst a bunch of obstacles that hinder economic progress. According to a survey conducted by KPMG Uganda in 2023, it revealed imbalances and missing gaps related to geopolitical, climate, risk and talent management, among other issues that hinder economic growth and corporate governance. Dr. Michael Atingi, the Deputy Governor, Bank of Uganda, believes the engagement will improve service delivery of the companies and emphasized the change in the narratives and trends of operation.
The world that we're living in is one of radical uncertainty. Profound unknowns and unpredictable outcomes are defining our future or our outcomes.
Dr. Atingi, however, emphasized the company's management to ensure professionalism while rendering service.
Radical uncertainty demands scenario planning, robust decision making, and resilience building. So instead of fighting the inevitable, we must embrace uncertainty as a natural feature of complex systems.
It's against this background that board members and senior managers from different organizations and companies deemed it right to be part of this engagement.
That is the group of people who are in charge of directing and controlling the organization to make sure that things go well. So when we call them for this meeting, it's a training of sorts, sensitization about corporate governance and because corporate governance is handled at the board of senior management, at the level of senior management and board. So it's to let them know what it is they need to bring up on their company.
The chairperson, Chartered Governance Institute of UK and Ireland, Jenny Okoti Langoya, is optimistic that the engagement will help address the challenges of the increasing climate and financial risks.
Climate change and climate governance is a huge thing that needs to come onto the agenda. Many times, Uganda being part of the Africa, we are called the less developed countries, we wait. There are things that are happening in the developed world. They are controlling carbon, they are controlling how much they are affecting the environment. We wait.
Even when directors appreciate the great services provided by their staff, there is need to change working conditions for effective corporate governance.
The element of working from home, though very important, virtual working, though very important and it's part of what we go through every day, but the key issue is that systems don't support. There is a lot of interference in the internet and also the work ethics. So the views are, at the moment, we need to encourage because of the systems that we have, encourage our staff to come to office and work from office. These are their views. And because of teamwork, a need to learn, a need to mentor each other, which is not possible when you are offsite.
However, different decisions have been made to bridge pertinent issues that are barriers to good governance, as Stephen Inegate, the country leader KPMG Uganda, elaborates.
Directors, because of the dynamic changes that happen in everyday life, directors must be quick, must respond with speed, with insight, with knowledge, and make the right decisions.
I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
Finance institutions. This gentleman.
The Public Accounts Committee of Parliament has demanded an explanation from the contractor of Mbuya Hospital, Bolun Zeng, from China National Aerotechnology International Engineering Corporation regarding the completion of the hospital. Originally scheduled for completion in 2020, the project deadline was extended to 30th June 2023. An investment of 106 billion shillings was made, with the contractor receiving 69 billion of the total sum. Committee members conducted a site visit to Mbuya to assess the construction progress and were alarmed to find the site deserted.
Members of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament toured the Mbuya National Referral Hospital construction site on Wednesday, following concerns raised in the Auditor General's report. By the time of the audit, in October 2023, the progress of the works was at 70%, falling short of the expected 90%. Upon further inspection, the Office of the Auditor General noted several delayed works. The Ministry for Defence and Veteran Affairs attributed the setbacks to adverse weather conditions, requests for price adjustments, and the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. The Ministry of Defence signed a 106 billion shillings contract with Bolun Zeng from China National Aerotechnology International Engineering Corporation. In 2016-2017, the contractor received 69 billion, and the completion deadline was initially set for 2020, making it 6 years overdue.
50% of civil works and at about 60% of mechanical, electrical and plumbing. The rest of the civil works are dependent on the completion of the mechanical, electrical and plumbing. For example, the sealing, the painting, the finishing of the floor is all dependent on the finishing of the mechanical and electrical.
These facilities is given to us, and each building is given its percentage of completion.
It had long been abandoned for quite some time. I think they did last-minute mobilization because of our coming. But even that, for me, is positive. If agencies can wake up and knowing that a committee of parliament will come and begin to remobilize, we will keep camera on this project.
The contractor admitted to the Public Accounts Committee that work had not been ongoing, citing the COVID-19 pandemic as the cause for delays. However, he assured the committee that construction would resume, with completion expected by December for the hospital to serve residents.
You are not on site by the time the audit was done. Is that so? So you are not on site. So when did you come back on site?
We are here and we meet some challenge because of this delay regarding these price issues due to some increment of the works.
At a completion date, when are you completing this project? Because you see it was 2 years.
This year, I can make sure this year we shall finish and hand over everything to you.
The contractor and the project engineer assured MPs that progress is being made and the remaining work is minimal. The chairperson of PAC, Mwanga Chivumbi, expressed skepticism about the explanation, questioning why work had not resumed despite having the necessary funds.
We have a building that has wards and psychiatry units. We have a building that has VVIP, wards and presidential suites. So that's how the hospital was designed. Where we are now is the OPD, outpatient department.
The MPs tired of having MPs and VIPs flown out of the country to get medical services on ground, and the money that they needed, we have already released it to them. Another 7.5 billion has been given extra to finish this project. So if the issue was money, the money is now there. If the issue was equipments, all the equipments are here, and they have all been approved. So I think by 31st July, we will receive our project from the contractors.
The committee chair expressed the importance of completing the hospital construction to save costs for Ugandans seeking specialized treatment abroad and to keep the funds within Uganda. I'm Nafka Farida and Gloria Gwetabenji in Kampala.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
The government of Uganda and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics is calling upon all stakeholders such as the chief administrative officers, city mayors, resident city commissioners, city clerks, city and division councillors, wards and LC chairpersons, as well as the residents and business communities to cooperate with the UBOS field teams as we embark on advanced preparations to conduct the National Population and Housing Census on the 10th of May 2024. The census will be a 10-day exercise to obtain statistical data and information that will be used for planning and policy formulation, including information on 1. How many we are, 2. Where we are, 3. How we are living, 4. What we own, and 5. Where we access services from. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has now started listing of households and mapping in the 11 cities of Arua, Fort Portal, Gulu, Hoima, Jinja, Lira, Mbale, Masaka, Mbarara, Soroti, and in the Greater Kampala comprising of Kampala, Wakiso, and Mukono districts. For more information, please call 0755 342 128 or 0773 342 128. This message is brought to you by the Executive Director and Census Commissioner, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Census 2024. It matters to be counted.
Have you packed more with Harbour jelly and Harbour fog? Yes, we packed. It will protect your skin from skin rashes. More with pack. It is a new improved more with Harbour jelly. So soft and smooth. It is a more with Harbour jelly.
Tell me, kids, the scent. Any irritations? No more rashes and irritations. Movit Herbal Jelly and Herbal Soap is rich in natural herbs for a smooth and glowing skin.
Movit all day confidence.
Hi Fifi, how are you?
I'm fine.
Baby, whenever I eat chips and chicken, I feel stomachache, joint pain and body weakness. My dear, go to MX Nutrition Center and learn the best food for your body. And get treatment according to your blood group.
Are you sure?
Yes.
By the way, do you know your blood group, genotype, and how much you need to exercise? Come to Timex Nutrition Center for professional advice on how to manage your health and immune boosting. At Timex, we treat diseases like diabetes, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, pressure, and many more. For details, find us at our headquarters in Kampala on Nasa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor. We also have a branch in Barara, or call us on 0758 819952 or 0778 288361. Timex, be your own doctor.
Attention everyone, the Ministry of Health has planned to vaccinate all persons aged 1 year to 60 years old to protect them against yellow fever disease. The mass vaccination will take place in 53 districts in these regions: Kampala, Buganda, Teso, Ankole and Karamoja. Vaccination is free and available at all government health facilities and outreach posts in these regions. The vaccination campaign will take place from April 2nd to April 8th, 2024. The vaccine is safe, effective and free of charge and has been approved by World Health Organization and Ministry of Health. This message is from Ministry of Health with support from Gavi.
Welcome back from that break, and now into the business scene. MTN Uganda Limited has released its audited results for the year 2023, showing a positive trend in revenue growth. Some of the key highlights include a 13.3% subscriber growth, a 22.4% data subscribers growth, and a 10.1% fintech subscribers.
I think for us, in the back of this momentum, we are encouraged, we are motivated, and we will continue to work hard to keep driving the same momentum. We have provided guidance to our investors in terms of what we anticipate this year to be, and I think that I believe that is part of the sense, so it has been shared with you and provided to you. But overall, what we are looking to drive is to continue to drive growth, keep our OpEx efficiency going so that we keep our margins stable, and continue to deliver a dividend that is above our policy to all our shareholders. I think the other thing is also to make sure that we as a company, as we continue to grow, we continue to invest in this great nation in terms of our giving back.
MomoPay remains very paramount. That was one of our key focus areas in 2023. But when you look at the exit, we're just looking at the exit of 2022 compared to how we exited 2023. On all parameters regarding MomoPay, we've seen a massive growth right from the merchant base, growing from 173,000 merchants to 292,000. I think that's quite remarkable. Looking at the users as well, the users have doubled from 400,000 to 800,000 over the past 12 months. Those are users that use MomoPay at least once every 30 days. The transaction values on MomoPay specifically have almost doubled from 1.1 trillion to 2.1 trillion. I think that's quite massive.
A committee appointed by the cabinet has examined the tea crisis in Uganda, which has resulted in a drop in the demand for tea, thereby affecting the sale of Uganda's tea in other countries. While this decline is attributed to political disputes in South Sudan, Russia and Ukraine, as well as economic disputes in Pakistan and Egypt, the cabinet has directed the Ministry of Finance to develop a tea policy and regulatory framework to address issues of quality, provide support, and articulate industry concerns by May 2024.
And this policy will spell out the number of measures which we have to undertake to address issues of quality and the whole industry to be supported, extension services, the kind of seedlings that we give to farmers must be those which have been checked and tested and recommended and approved, other than leaving farmers to just plant any seedling they want. All these speak to quality issues. We have therefore taken a decision to establish a fertilizer revolving fund, which will initially be capitalized by government, and we provide a subsidy. So we are going to buy fertilizer and provide the subsidy, distribute it working with the tea processing factories so that the fertilizer is given to the farmers, and that is going to support farmers, especially in addressing issues of quality and productivity. We shall, for the first 2 seasons, give a subsidy of 50%, and then this fund will continue. Then eventually the farmers will be able to buy the fertilizer themselves, but we shall be extending it through the factories. And therefore Cabinet has taken a decision to designate the tea processing factories as export processing zones, and that in accordance with the Free Zones Act. So that means we shall be waiving off the licensing fees. That means we shall be giving them cheaper power, because one of the challenges that the factories face is the high cost of energy and many other benefits which will come. Then lastly, you know, our tea is auctioned in Mombasa. We have also taken a decision to establish a tea auction here in Kampala, and we have already arranged our experts in government to study what it takes for us to have the tea market, the auctioning done here in Kampala instead of...
Is here with a delegation from...
British Council has organized a 5-day Creative Economy Week to showcase Uganda's rich cultural heritage and its contribution to the global creative economy. The Creative Economy Week will bring together professionals in the creative industry, policymakers, and entrepreneurs.
It will show a lot of visibility and awareness to the types of clothing that we're making and producing. And as well, similar, all our material that we use are 100% sourced here in Uganda. It's raw material, so it's 100% Ugandan cotton, reusable brass, cow horn. This will help us shed light on how we can use the raw material that we have here in Uganda and incorporate it into fashion and clothing that can help us emphasize and amplify Ugandan culture and what we have here.
Can you do a fashion show? I've always said, as we're all designers, we've grown so much that I want to help the creatives in Uganda. I'm not the only amazing fashion. It really hurts when I sit in fashion showrooms with big brands like Dior, Chanel, and they're like, oh my God, Uganda, that's made in Uganda. And I'm like, I'm actually we're coming to 4 years old. There's amazing, amazing talent. But the problem is there's no visibility for your talent.
Ebiseera by'okuzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu, kano kalippagano ka bidduka. Simanya kuzunga na banka siripsi. Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *165*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu eya Uganda.
Special announcement. The Secretary General of the National Resistance Movement, NRM, informs party members and the entire public that the membership registration exercise will run from Wednesday 13th to Sunday the 17th of March 2024. You are therefore requested to go to your branches or villages to participate in the display, update, and registration of your details. Those confirmed dead, left the area, or crossed to other political parties should be publicly deleted from the register, while the new residents and those who have come of age be added. Please note that every member must show up in person, and only registered individuals will participate in the internal party structure elections and party primaries.
Welcome back from that break. Now in the world of sports, the Pepsi University League has witnessed another quarterfinal in which Makerere University Business School left it late to seal a semi-final slot. Details follow.
After the first leg that ended scoreless, both hosts Makerere University Business School and visiting Bugema University knew that a single goal with a clean sheet would secure a semi-final slot in this year's Pepsi University Football League. The teams approached the game with caution and there was nothing much to separate them till Stuart Magumba struck Makerere University Business School as the clock ticked towards the 90th minute. The goal sparked scenes of celebrations and was enough to secure the two-time champions a semi-final slot.
Actually, it's a very great moment for us. We have been waiting for it because we are very anxious for this trophy. Because it has been a long while ever since we won our last trophy, I think 2016, when we were not here. So we are very anxious for this trophy. So it means a lot to us as a team.
Makerere University Business School joins Uganda Christian University Mukono that ejected Makerere University.
Like any other university moves, this is not the first semi-finals we've played. We have ever played many and we have ever taken the trophy. I think this time around here already we have a new team. The boys are so focused and determined. I think we shall push to the finals and see that we even win the championship.
These will be joined by either Uganda Matters University or Nkumba University that will travel for the second leg this Thursday after one all draw last Wednesday in Entebbe. The last semi-final will be played next Tuesday with St. Lawrence University at home and with a 5-2 aggregate lead over Kampala University.
And that is all we have for you this wonderful evening. Thank you so much for your company. Do enjoy much more of UBC's programming, most especially behind the headlines tonight. It's going to be an all-female panel tonight. You do not want to miss it. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and Elizabeth Nakakoni in sign language interpretation. We bid you farewell and good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.